Welcome, everybody. Thank goodness things seem to be warming up a little bit with spring in the air. I want to welcome you today to today's session on shared reading. You know, if someone asks me why I love reading, I always say it's because it transports me to faraway places. So hopefully after today's webinar, you'll be able to instill this love of reading with your little learners in your care as well. My name is Ricky, and I'm a project manager at Macmillan Teacher Campus. Before I make my introductions, I would like to just show you the control panel that you're going to be using today. So if you look carefully, you will see on your control panel, there's a little button there at the top that says help. And what you need to do there is you click to test your audio settings. So if you can't hear anything or you have trouble with your audio, you can click on the help and test your audio settings there. Then also look out for a little button that looks like a rectangle or square with a little line at the top. That is where you get your handouts for today. So this entire PowerPoint presentation will be available for you to download. We will also make this recording available on our YouTube channel for you to watch again afterwards. And then if you don't get to download the slides at the end or during the session now, you can always drop me an email and I'll email them to you. And then there's also a section there that says questions. So if you want to click on the questions, you can pop me a question, and that is where I will interact with you all the time. You can drop questions there, and then I'll try and answer them as far as possible. Those that I can't answer, we'll leave to the Q&A session at the end so that our presenter can answer them. So I want to quickly just discuss some meeting etiquette rules with you. So you will notice that everyone is muted. That is so that we don't have any background noise or anything that disturbs our presentation today. I'd like you all to participate in the activities that we've got. We've got some polls that we want to ask you to engage with. We want you to stay focused and engaged. It's really going to be jam-packed full of wonderful ideas for you today. And then please ask any relevant questions or make comments in the question section for you that you have. And then our presenter today is Magdaitjie. Magda Skeepers has been a teacher for 22 years. She was also a principal at a preschool for 6 years. She joined the publishing industry in 2002. I think that was the year that I was born. I'm kidding, Magda. The teacher trainer, she's a teacher trainer and a material developer as well. And then currently she's the provincial sales manager and marketing manager in Gauteng. And she's also very, very passionate about quality learning and teaching. So I'm going to hand over to you, Magda. Welcome, and thank you very much for sharing your expertise. We cannot wait to hear from you.
Thank you very much, Ricky. Wow, what an honor, what a privilege to spend some time with you guys this afternoon. I want to say welcome to the session. You know, I'm so used to face-to-face contact with people, but I can feel the love coming my way through the clouds. So thank you for this. Give yourselves a warm hug from me on that side, a virtual hug from Magda. I hope you're going to enjoy the session. I know you're spending this time because you are passionate about your teaching in your grade R classroom, and I want to thank you for that, and I want to salute you for that. Now let's start reading. If today was my reading lessons time, and I chose the book Snow White, I'm quite sure that if you look at the speech bubble, you can all recognize the little message that comes from there. And because you've now listened to so many things, you maybe are sitting alone in your classroom, you are maybe sitting in your bedroom for, maybe that's a special space for you, but I want you to be interactive with me. We can't unmute you, but I'm going to read this little speech bubble to just get you into the scene of reading, to just hear and listen to a voice and experience a little bit of reading before we start with all the other very important information. So if I was reading this book, it will go like this. And I'm the stepmother, and I'm looking into the mirror because Snow White is this threat for me. So my voice needs to imitate my emotions and my feelings and my way of thinking. So it might go like this. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? And I could actually change the wording to say, mirror, mirror on the wall? Who is the bravest of them all in COVID-19? So my answer is all my teachers attending, everybody that are listening to me this afternoon. So once again, welcome. And I hope you also had a little chance to say my mirror, mirror, little message on the wall. You are the bravest of them all. Now, looking at shared reading, ladies and gentlemen, if we have some gentlemen, some thorns amongst the roses in our audience this afternoon, you know, shared reading is that interactive reading lesson that the teacher usually does with the whole class. It's a whole class activity. And as we know, and remember, you might know all of these things. Today is just a reminder. We've been away from school for quite a while. So see this as a little appetizer for when you go back to your school and you are going to do your shared reading. We would love our little ones to participate. They need to share their views on certain things, answer questions, join in the reading. And remember, we try and give them an enlarged text so that they are all able to see and hear. The senses are in use here. And as you as the teacher guide them, you are actually supporting them without them even noticing. Now, shared reading is a reading methodology that takes place during any of the teacher-guided lessons. Remember, dear teachers, you usually have 3 teacher-guided activities in your day. It would be 1 for language, 1 for maths, and 1 for life skills, depending on the changes coming with the shortened time that we have left for 2020. You will be able to make your adoptions accordingly or adaptations. It's 45 minutes per week, and this is your chance to shine. Remember, dear grade art teachers, your learners love you. They imitate you. They walk like you. They talk like you. They even pronounce words the way you do it. And this is your time when you read to practice those good reading skills. They hear you are fluent. They hear you use your voice. They see your facial expression and all of that. Model those good practices so that they also want to be a reader, just like teacher. Now, I want you to be interactive with us a little bit, and this we call a quick poll. So Ricky is going to launch a poll for us, and with this poll, you will get an option where you can select your answer. My question to you now is, why do we teach shared reading? What is this all about? There might be more than one correct answer. So Ricky is launching the poll now. It will appear on your screen, and all you need to do is to click on the answers that you think is relevant to answer this specific question. Are you ready? Let's say ready, steady, and go. I can see that you are responding so nicely. The figures are growing, the percentages are growing. We're giving another 30 seconds, and let's see if there's a change in the picture that I get here. Your responses according to why do we teach shared reading. Now, I think we can, 64% of you have voted. We're climbing to 67%. I'm just going to give a little few seconds for more people to just quickly vote and put their remarks on there. Thank you so much. You are working so nicely with me, and I appreciate all your participation. Thanks a million for that. 75% have voted. Let's just give a little more time for thinking. It looks good. It looks good. We're nearly at 80%. Ricky, I think we can close the poll so that we can just look at what happened, what 80% of our participants are saying with regards to the question, why do we teach shared reading? Ricky will share the information with you as well. Now, 11% of you said that it keeps the learners busy. Yes, it will keep them busy, but only for a short time. Our intention is for them to have fun and participate in all of that. But yeah, the main objective is not actually to keep them busy, but we do keep them busy in the process of doing shared reading. I love that 76% of you indicated that the learners need to interact with the books. You know, we want to create that love for reading. We want them to see how we use a book. We want them to actually go copy whatever was done with our shared reading lesson. And we want to build on so many skills as we do it. I'm happy to see that 7% of you are indicating that it does not replace storytelling. Remember, with storytelling, it's a total different set of skills that we are applying. You're telling a story, you're not reading a story, to simplify the difference between the two. We might have a future session coming up where we might talk about storytelling as such. 74% said that interaction through books can promote all the necessary skills that we already mentioned. So yes, the 76% and 74% is a big yes. It's a big yay-ha, hooray for all the people that indicated about interaction and how the advantages will actually be to the benefit of our learners. And I also like the fact that everybody, or 42% indicated, nearly half of my audience, said it will definitely develop perceptual skills. We will go into the perceptual skills a little bit later and clarify a little bit what we mean with perceptual skills. But yes, shared reading, as we can see indicated with your answers, is actually so valuable, and we cannot underestimate the value of shared reading. Thanks for participation, and thanks for sharing your views and ideas. It helps me to see a little bit beyond the screen that I'm facing here. I love for you to participate. Thank you so much. Now, if we now go on to the next slide, let me just see. Wow, there we go. Why shared reading? You already answered my questions, but we cannot run away from CAPS, ladies and gentlemen. We know that it's a CAPS requirement for grade R, and your big objective every time you touch a book, you should just realize that you are promoting and encouraging a love for reading. Number two, when we use that predictable text, we know that as we read, we encourage our learners to discuss certain pictures with us, to talk to us, to share their views and ideas. They must be part of the story, and therefore we encourage the interaction with the story. They're not just sitting and listening. Yes, there are times when our little ones will be quiet and listen wide-eyed and hang on your lips. Yes, we want that, but we also want to encourage them to participate. We want them to enjoy it. You know, learners pretend as if they can read. Remember, in grade R, we are focusing on the pre-reading part. We are busy developing the skills that will be necessary when they are going to learn to read in the formal grade 1 environment. So our job is to prepare, to plant the seeds, to prepare the soil and get them ready. And you know what? When they look at a book, they make up their own stories. They sometimes do what you did, and they just link a new storyline to each picture that they actually see in the book. Interaction through books can promote verbal skills as well as visual development, and we already said that. So I'm not with you, but I want you to give yourselves a round of applause. Well done to all those wonderful feedback that we got via the poll previously. Now, what does shared reading help to develop? Ladies, gentlemen in my audience, phonemic awareness is all about what do you hear. Now, a grade R child learns through the ways of using the senses. What do I hear? How can I say that word? If I look at the picture, can I identify that sound with that specific picture? What did I hear first? What did I hear last? If my name is Magda, how can I break it up in little parts? And sometimes we go to the extent of taking a vocabulary word from our shared reading lesson, and we allow our learners to clap the word in syllables. So if the word, for example, the character of the story's name was Magda, we would go and say, let's clap the words. How many parts do you hear? Magda. We can even box the word. We can jump the word. We can go all out to just make them aware of the different sounds. Remember, if you teach in English, you've got 26 alphabet names or letters. We don't use them in the foundation phase to say ABC when we decode a word. We use the sounds. So in English, we've got 44 sounds that we need to teach our learners. One day we might just focus on phonemic awareness, but please be mindful of the sounds here. Word recognition, those incidental little words. We know learners, when they drive past McDonald's or KFC or places like that, those are incidental reading words that they pick up and they can recognize it on sight. A sight word is a word that shouldn't be decoded. When you see is and am and me and I and they and we, you need to recognize it, and it's only through the repetition that this will happen. We also want them to comprehend what we are reading, and therefore we ask the questions. They participate and portray and show us that they understand the storyline. They even want to complete the storyline sometimes for us. And also, with the sequence of happening in your story, it's very important that they understand what happened first, what happened next, and what happened after that, as a way of understanding the storyline. Vocabulary is essential. That's the building bricks of a language. So yes, we have our theme tables, and I will show you a little bit of that just now to enhance the opportunities that we have in our grade art classroom to expose learners to all of these things. And then fluency. They love to listen to you. They love to see what happens next, and they can follow if you read fluently. So ladies, gentlemen, I would like to encourage you to sit in front of a mirror one day after this session and just read a story to yourself. You know, when you watch yourself in the mirror, it's so easy to pick up how fluent you are, how you pronounce your words, and all of that. So, yes, we definitely need to do it. And just be mindful that when you do your shared reading lesson for the week, you choose your focus for that lesson. Maybe today my focus is very much on word recognition. Maybe tomorrow I want to focus a little bit more on the vocabulary words. It depends on when you read the story, and don't be scared, dear colleagues, to read the story more than once. They love it when they hear the story for the second time. Now, in our classrooms, the reading doesn't begin and end with the shared reading lesson. It's something that's part and parcel of your whole classroom. When the little ones in the morning arrive, they've got the opportunity to go and decide where they want to play. We call it free play. And as you can see here, I use different fonts. We know that there's a specific font for our little ones to copy and do the correct letter formation. But if you look on the right side of my picture, you will see a washing line there with my sounds that I have taught up till now for assumably this time of the year. You see that there are books available. You see that they can read little flashcards on the wall. And I'm going to do a little picture walk with you now to just highlight and remind you of those little things that will actually promote incidental reading in your classroom. If you look at the next one, we know they recognize their names. They look at their symbols. Term 1, our reading will entail the recognition of the symbol. If it's the apple or the banana or the cupcake, and then you can see there were names written next to it. Actually, this was a course that we did for grade R practitioners, and we actually exposed them to also choose a symbol and then write their own names. And I can see you can pick up on that on the screen that different people, the letter formation, some did it in capital letters, other did a proper capital letter with the small letters. So please, ladies, gentlemen, they will copy what you do. Be mindful of anything that you put on your walls, that they read the correct font and the correct way of formation of the letter. It's very, very, very important. We label our areas in the classroom. So if Magda comes to school tomorrow and she wants to go and play in the language area, there might be the reading corner. I think you can see the cushion sticking out on the right-hand side. And there's some artwork and puppets that I just display as an example that could be part of your theme table, depending on your shared reading lesson. It might be about a visit to the zoo or to the game reserve or something like that. Label your areas so that when they choose and they want to go and play with the blocks, they might go to the mathematics area, and that's specifically where they will get it. Or if they want to dress up, they will go to the life skills. How will they know? They recognize on sight. Your pictures indicate that to them. This is the theme table. You see different ways of presentation. This is also a shared reading opportunity, dear colleagues. Why? Because you pick up objects, you label objects, you read with them. They read. Shared reading can also be, apart from the big book, the reading of a wonderful flashcard or a picture that you've got there if there's no words in the beginning of the year where they can't even recognize anything. I've done a different theme table on the left as well. Just look at the letter formation, the objects that are there. I think when you plan your lessons, even your shared reading lesson, have your little checklist to tick the boxes to say, this lesson will involve the eyes. This lesson will involve the ears. It will allow a bit of smelling, maybe if there is something that we could smell, like vegetables or fruit or food. It will allow touching. It will allow hearing. So there's a lot of things, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your fingers, tasting, your mouth. The more senses you involve, the better learning will happen in your classroom. I just did a lot of examples for you to indicate the shared reading opportunities. Apart from being incidental reading, there's such a lot. Remember, a picture will replace the object, and only after that we will go the formal route of just talking to learners without objects and pictures, and that might not even happen in the grade R year. Remember, we are preparing them for school readiness. Sight words, I've did another way of phonics. I would like to recommend that you please do a 3D phonic card. Now, if you can remember my washing line that was hanging there, if it was the letter M, for example, I could get my learners to collect objects that they can put in a little bag. You know, your A4 sized clear bags can be easily pinned on the washing line, and you can add objects to it. And also be mindful that once you've put something on the wall, it means it's something that your children are familiar with. They've seen it on your theme table. They were part of your teaching process, and they know where it comes from. It's not something strange to them. And in grade R, we are focusing on the 100 sight words. It might not happen that you will cover all of them, but I can think you can see it's all those short little words that appear in most of the stories that we read to our learners. Do your sight words on your theme table every week so that learners can see, this is the phonic. These are the two sight words. This is my number for the week. We integrate our things that we teach there. And there's another picture around word recognition and phonics. Remember, our daily program is our timetable. I think you can clearly see it there. And if I chose shared reading as my guided activity, my teacher guided activity before playtime outside, with COVID, it might be different because we still need to keep our distance. We still need to make sure that our learners are safe and all of that. Plan ahead. Your learners are coming back soon. So make sure that you rearrange your daily program to accommodate what is most important for you now to get them school ready for grade 1 next year. Now, at this time, I think you are all tired of listening. So I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to inhale and I'm going to exhale. And I want you to copy me. Maybe I can feel the wind coming my way as you inhale. So let's inhale and let's exhale. Let's inhale again and exhale. And let's clap our hands 3 times. 1 and 2 and 3. And what is this all about? The 3-part process of the CAPS reading process. We have before reading, we have during reading, and we have after reading. And we look at this in the CAPS document, and sometimes I feel, so what? There are 3 words or 3 headings there. What does it really mean to me as the grade R teacher? And I would love to share this with you. When we look at before reading, it all talks about preparation. It talks about planning. It talks about I must be ready when I call my learners to the carpet. They must know there's a lot of fun waiting for them. So what do I need to do as a teacher? And it's even more important now with the COVID-19 regulations of social distancing. We need to prepare the designated area where they will come and sit. They put their little bums on the carpet. Now, you have beautiful systems in your classrooms that I've observed in my lifelong teaching career. I saw people having little symbols, the symbols that the learners recognized as their little spot or their place to put up artwork or put away their suitcases and stuff. It's sometimes placed on the carpet. And with COVID, it's an excellent opportunity to space them out. Why not have your little shapes if you don't want to use your symbols? Why not have little objects that you put out? It could be objects that relate to the storyline of your shared reading lesson. Can you imagine how excited they will be if you guide them towards a specific place that they sit? I know if you look at the left-hand side picture, you will see they're kind of sitting on top of one another. And when we look to the right hand side picture, it says, "Hello, COVID. I'm wearing a mask, but my heart wants to kind of miss a beat when I look at that COVID situation in the sense of it feels so formal." It needn't be formal. Nobody is telling you that you should put them at desks and now it's a formal environment. Make use of your learn through play environment. Make use of what you have around in your classroom. The only thing that you need to really be observant of is that they must be able to see you and the material that you will be using. So maybe you should do shared reading in smaller groups of learners. And although it's a whole class activity, it might not be possible within your COVID-19 situation. So please go and see before your learners arrive in 2 weeks' time, how are you going to accommodate them for the shared reading thing? Now, sometimes, life happens to all of us. Sometimes it was your wedding anniversary the day before. I'm talking from a practical, personal experience. Or you had your birthday, or your book is lost or something, and then we run to the corner and grab a book and read it. I'm just joking, ladies, gentlemen. I'm not saying that you do that. What I want to encourage you is to decide before time, when you plan your lesson, the story that you're going to use to read. Now, how do we choose a story? Sometimes you are busy with a topic and you've got a wonderful story in your big book that you can use to read to introduce your theme or your topic. Sometimes you don't have a big book. And therefore, I would like to encourage you to make your own. We will give you a link at the end of the session on how to make a big book. And it's really easy peasy. I can promise you, all of you can do it. And then, being a great art teacher myself, I know with the morning ring, you've got such a beautiful opportunity to have those big flip chart papers or newspaper blank papers where you can write the news that comes from your learners. That could be your big book that you use later on during the day or next week, because we usually relate our discussions in the morning a little bit to what is happening in our topic or theme. How did you get to school today? What are you having in your lunchbox for today? What did you eat last night? So all of those things could be my vocabulary that in the presence of my learners, I jot down my storyline so that they can see, wow, we are writing our own book. Isn't this wonderful? So that's an opportunity for you as well. Ladies, you cannot read, gentlemen, you cannot read a book if you are not familiar with the story. The reason why you need to be familiar is very simple, because you know what's going to happen next. You can create excitement. You can stop or pause a little bit. You can ask a question to guide them to predict what's going to happen next. And you know what the end of the story is like. You know if you want a sad kind of story. You know if you want them to be excited. You know if you want to use your shared reading story as an opportunity to talk about a difficult topic like bullying or sharing with other children and all of that. So familiarize yourself with the book. The how part is the part I love. You know, when learners think it's now story time, they usually are excited already. But what are you doing to change your scenery? What are you doing as a teacher to create that excitement to see, but why is my teacher wearing a mask? She's looking like an elephant now. Oh, wow, my teacher is on TV. Look at Samsung, and she's even using a microphone today. I wonder if I'll also get an opportunity to answer my question using the microphone. Then you see the other teacher. She's sitting on a chair like we usually do. Ladies, gentlemen, I think that chair is a perfect opportunity for you to create a storyteller's chair. Make it an interesting place to be. It doesn't always need to be the formal classroom chair. I think you can see she's wearing a crown. She's having Christmas tinsels around her neck. And what I did in my classroom, and I want to share this experience with you, it was so great to actually decorate the chair. And from the morning ring in the mornings, I was first sitting on the chair, so my bum was on it. And then, no, when teacher is sitting on that chair, it's our time to keep quiet because she's got important things to tell us. So sometimes learners want to be all over the place and put up their hands and what and what. And then if they really want to share their morning news, or if they want to do the weather chart with you, you get up from your chair and you allow one of your learners to go sit on the chair. It's an opportunity to help with discipline. It's an opportunity, and if they are shy and not so confident, put them on your lap. It's a good opportunity for participation. They need to be invited. You can be drums. You can wear a special pair of glasses. You can sing along to say, this is now time for story reading, story reading, story reading. This is the time for story reading. Come join me on the carpet. You will sing and they will wonder, what happened to my teacher? She's now singing. Something like that. You can wear a special pair of gloves to turn the pages and be very visible when you hold the book and show them what it looks like. Ladies, gentlemen, please change your ways of how you get into the carpet. Introduce it on a Monday so that they know for this week, if I hear the drum beat or if I hear the whistle blowing, I must join my teacher. Still before reading the story, this is the crucial part where it gets a little bit more teacher focused, in the sense that you will guide them into the process of discussion. We talk about the cover of the page. We look at what is the name of the story. They try and tell you what they think the story is going to be about. And yes, we need to do a picture walk through the book and discuss it. You haven't read the story yet, but you are asking thought-provoking questions to encourage feedback from your learners. And prediction is a skill that will be a lifelong skill. So encourage it. They don't know that they are predicting, but your question guides them towards that by asking, what do you think will happen next? What is this all about? And so forth. Now, let's look at your classroom. I actually want you to close your eyes and visualize what your classroom looks like. So if your learners return tomorrow and you are going to be in your classroom, where's the shelf where you host your big books? What does your storeroom look like? Do you have big books or don't you? It's sometimes not something that you can control. You are on the receiving end of budgets and a lot of other problems. But I want to see what the situation is, and I want to ask Ricky to launch the poll for us. And once again, you are going to just jot down how resourced you are. You tick the relevant box. Maybe you are very resourced with age-appropriate books, or you are poorly resourced. It's good for us all to share what is happening all around us. Thank you so much. I see 56% have done, the 16% there. It's growing, it's growing. Thanks for participation. I really appreciate. It's so good. You know, they say sharing is caring. And I care for what I see here because I know Macmillan can support you in some kind of a way, or you can support one another for that matter. Let's keep on growing together. I'll give another 20 seconds. 61% voted. Fantastic. There's kind of a balance if I look at the response so far. We are halfway there. Thank you very much. I just hope to get to above 70% of participants voting. Thank you very much for that. Fantastic. Thank you, Ricky. I think we can close the poll and just look at our final picture here. 42% of you said you are very resourced with age-appropriate books. Fantastic. You actually are very privileged, and I'm so happy to see that you are using those books because it quickly came to the picture that you are really into the reading and you want to use your resources. 4% said, yes, I've got books. but they're not age appropriate. Remember, if they're not age appropriate, it's going to be very difficult to read to your learners and get them to interact and relate to personal experiences and things that learners of that age of 6, 7 will be interested in. So it's very important when you choose your resources to be mindful of that. 41% says moderate. You have got books, but it's not always relevant to your topics and themes and things that you would like to do. Colleagues, when we buy books, we just don't buy them for the sake of buying. We know they are our tools. They're going to support us towards effective teaching. So be careful when you look at things and look at variety. That's always key to good reading in classrooms. And 13% of you, unfortunately, are poorly resourced. There are ways how we can raise funds. There are different ways how we can work around this, but at least this afternoon, you already saw where there might be a little bit of a problem. So I want to encourage you, once we're done with this session, there will be some links where you can see what Macmillan has got on offer to support you with the resources in your classroom. Thank you very much for participation. I'm happy to see that we have books in our schools. With the video that you see here, we're not going to watch during this session because of some people having a little bit of a data problem or a little bit of a connection problem. So you see the link there. The presentation will be emailed to all of you who attended today by the end of today. So please click on the link and see how you can make your own book, big book, if your school is poorly resourced, or if you see that your books are not talking to your topics or themes. Feel free to get the support from Macmillan. Don't miss out on this opportunity. During reading, now, ladies, this is mirror time again. Mirror, mirror on the wall. I am the great art teacher, and I'm going to read to all. It's not the fairest, but am I comfortable? Now, I want to challenge you. Please go to your mirrors tomorrow or when you're at school. Hold the book and see what you look like. You can see the teacher is sitting there on that little cube. And she's holding it. She prefers to hold it to her right. Some of us prefer to hold it to our left, but you must still be comfortable. You can't cover your face, otherwise they will not see what you are actually talking about and they will not be able to see the pictures. And while you are reading, they cannot contribute when they get so excited and they look at your pictures and they can't clearly see them, and you are busy moving the book a few times and you are not clearly displaying what you are talking about. Then they will get frustrated and they will get naughty. So I want you to allow them to follow and comprehend the story with your way of handling the book that you are using. You can also see there's a little easel. If you feel your arms are too short or too tired, or maybe it will not be visible, something like an easel can even be put on your table in your classroom. And when you space them for COVID-19 and all of that, be mindful of those rules and regulations, but still allow them to be able to see whatever you are busy with. It might be a bit of a challenge, but I know that you will make a plan to make this work. When we read, you need to read with as much expression as you can. You know, sometimes we are also a bit shy. I even felt a bit awkward when I started to sing to you during my presentation. And I think if you were a fly on the wall here where I'm sitting, you will see Magda is using her arms and she's pulling faces and she's moving on the chair because I can't stop my excitement. It's like within a teacher to perform. So when you read, you will use your voice. You will use your facial expression. When there's a sad thing, we will talk in a very sad way and even bring in a few tears or two. When it's this big bear coming your way and we want to be scared and hear the footsteps coming our way and we want to run away. Sometimes we will talk a little bit quick so they can get the sense of how the storyline is developing. Let's run quickly. Come, 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 come. You can't be slow now. Come, 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 come. I hope my voice comes across clearly. And then sometimes we just read in a normal way. It depends on what your storyline expects from you. Because, you know, they're your audience. You want to bring the story to life. You don't want them to start kicking one another and be naughty while you are busy reading. So happy practicing with regards to expressions. As you read, you help develop your learner's prediction by asking, what do you think will happen next? Create that excitement. Don't be monotonous. The minute we put on our normal teacher voice, that's when our children will shut down. Now, ladies, gentlemen, I know you are not doing it like that. So thank you for that. And thank you for allowing them to closely look at the illustrations and particulars. And sometimes, like I just did now, I paused for them to get back to the storyline again. Deepen your children's understanding of a story. And how do we do that? We ask open ended questions. What is an open ended question? It's not something like, do you like the story? Yes. Is the boy big or small? Small. But you only have a yes or a no or a one-word answer. We want them to start thinking. We want them to share things like, how would you feel if you were the stepmother in the Snow White story? How would you feel if you were Snow White and the dwarfs didn't come home? If you were him, what would you have done? Why do you think she did that? What does that remind you of? You need to guide them with questions. And I want to say thank you for planting the seeds for critical thinking already on the grade R level. They love to give you an answer to those questions. Talking about stories in these ways help your children to understand how stories work. They need to understand how does a story work to, in the end, be able to tell a story, write a story, and read a story for that matter. So if you don't show them that there's a storyline, there's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end, there are pictures to demonstrate what the story is all about, and all of those things, if you don't help them with it, they will not be able to do it independently in the end. The last little slide on during reading. Let your children ask questions too. I know sometimes we feel it's disruptive. Sometimes we feel they must just be quiet. But if they ask questions, you can maybe, in a very gentle way, do a bit of discipline to say, let's read on and find out what happened next, shall we? And we can't always just say, put your little finger on your mouth and keep it shut. Put your arms or your hands on your head to be quiet. Forced discipline here will do a lot of damage and harm to our intention of creating a love for reading. But we still have to have the teacher reading and the others be quiet at times. When you have finished the book together, ask your children what they liked, and if they could change anything, what would they wish for? What would they have done differently? And if they don't know an answer, it's such a nice opportunity to go back to the specific page or to that part of the story where you can reread it and then get back to the questions again, to the relevant part of the story. Share some of your own thoughts. I've already covered that, to enrich their thinking. And actually, where you are sitting on your chair, I want you to shout it out that even your husband maybe drops his cup of coffee where he's sitting. The objective is to encourage a love for reading. That is what we are busy with. And we are doing it through learning, through play in the ECD and Grade R environment. Please, 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 that is my plea and my main objective for the day. Instill a love for reading. Now, I've spoken a lot about the reading, and this is now time where you are going to participate again, and we are going to do a quick poll again, and Ricky is launching it at the moment, and we just want to check what skills are we developing as kind of a wrap up or a little bit of a conclusion to see what did you get from the session so far. How do you feel about this whole thing? Language skills, are we developing language skills, comprehension, memory, perceptual skills? What is your take on it? Why are we doing it? It's not only to keep our learners busy, as we have discovered. It's got far more to it than that. I see you are still awake because 47% responded. We're getting to 60%. Thank you for being interactive. Thank you for still being with me. I hope you parked a cup of coffee next to you to get you through the session. We are getting there. 71% voted. And I'm giving another 10 seconds. 75% voted. And I can see our first entry there is kind of the big focus according to everybody's response. Thank you, Ricky. I think we can close the poll. So 92% of you guys said it's to develop the language skills. It's all about the language skills. And we know with language skills, we are talking about listening. We are talking about speaking. We are talking about reading. And in the end, we are talking about writing. In our case, it will be drawing of pictures and even copying may be involved here. 66% said we're doing it to encourage comprehension, understanding. I hope when we do this kind of a thing again, it would be 100%, because our biggest problem going beyond grade R would be reading with understanding, comprehension skills. And that's why all the questioning are happening. We constantly check understanding. And I would like to really encourage you guys to check whether they are with you on the same page. Do they understand? Do they follow? And so on. Memory is good. In the end, we need to remember certain things. I must tell you, grade R's are actually excellent when it comes to remembering. If you think of any little rhyme or any little song or any little poem, they quickly repeat it after you and they sing it with confidence a number of times, even without you being present. So yes, we want to create the visual and auditory memory. I will talk to that. And then our perceptual skills. I'm not going to say much about it now because there is a little bit towards the end of the session where I highlight those perceptual skills. What are they all about? So fantastic. And I want to say, yee-haw, you've done it. Fantastic. And thanks for participation. The part that we get to now would be our after reading. What do we do now? The learners enjoyed the story. They were part of it. They got the storyline. This is your opportunity, my dear colleagues, to ask them to dramatize the story. And dramatizing, we know, falls with the creative arts part of life skills. We will do the performing arts. So for your visual arts, you could have them draw the picture, or you could make a mask, or you can do a little bit of construction where you build a house for the three little pigs or something like that. So we are integrating, we are enhancing different skills through the point of departure being our shared reading story that we did for the day. We can also let them extend the story and put a new ending to it, add another storyline to it. There's always lots of opportunity. And you know what? These words coming from our storyline will help us to create our print-rich environment. I showed you pictures for our theme table, or for maybe our art part of the wall, or maybe for our mathematics area. Maybe it's a counting story that you did as a shared reading story. So don't think that it all only belongs to language. There are also opportunities to integrate with the other subject. The learners can develop their own books. Oh, they love this. And you know what? For fundraising, you can sell those books that the learners made back to the parents. I know the other siblings at home or the grandmothers and grandfathers would love to purchase a book that was made specifically by their grandchild, or maybe the mother or father wants to read the story at home to the younger brother or sister. Wow, it's such a wonderful thing, and it can actually be something that you display in your classroom. Learners love these kind of activities. What I've just spoken about, you see the drawings there, you see the Lego blocks. Some of you are using that to do construction, but it can also turn into the monster in the storyline of your big book. You see the snow and the weather things on the snowmen that they did on the right-hand side, and where their names are for the incidental reading, and different creations there coming from the storyline. And then you have at the bottom, this was a monster kind of a story, the Gruffalo or something like that. You know, they like these kind of stories sometimes. So let them go wild and use different media to do this. You know, use different resources, use different techniques. So you're building on creative arts, but you also actually checking understanding. You check their own creativity. You allow them to make the story their own in a very creative way. In conclusion, I would like to just summarize what we've done so far by just highlighting our main elements. And before I do that, I want to say thank you in advance for really choosing some of these things to focus on when you do a teacher guided activity with shared reading. Number one, we encourage a love for reading. Reading can be fun. I think no one can argue with that. Pre-reading skills, it's necessary. In grade 1, they will get a reader and they're supposed to read it. They need to hold it the right way up. You assess that according to CAPS. They need to know how to turn the pages, and they need to know how to read from left to right. There's no harm done if you include a story, or if you include specific actions to demonstrate this, or if you even include a song. This is the way we hold the book, turn the page, read from left to right. I can go on, but for the course of time, I'm cutting it short. Perceptual skills is mainly on visual and auditory discrimination and memory. Visual, what do I see? The message that I see coming through my eyes, what does my brain do with it? Does it allow me to see that there's a difference between the B and the D? That's discrimination. Similarities and differences. Memory, if I look at the word k, a, and I put all of it together, what did I hear first? What did I hear last? If I put them together, what word do I get? It goes with instructions. It goes with picture reading. It goes with your vocabulary that you are busy with. It goes with your way of focus. So please be mindful that you even do foreground, background. I didn't list all of them. There's such a lot. But with reading, and specifically for shared reading, going to our CAPS policy document, apart from the bottom gross motor and fine motor skills, remember we said you sit, you listen to the teacher, you hold the book with your bigger muscles, your arms, you turn the page with your fine motor skills being your fingers that you turn the page. All of this gets involved if we do the shared reading lesson. Not necessarily when you are only holding the book, but when they go for free play to the little reading corner and they pretend they are the teacher and they are reading. All these skills come to play. You have departmental workbooks. You have other things that you work with. Remember, it's not our objective in grade R to see how many worksheets we can complete. Did you hear me? You there to guide them for the pre-reading skills, pre-writing skills, including all of these perceptual things that I just mentioned. If their bodies are not strong, they cannot sit behind a desk for a whole day in grade 1. Please make sure they play outside and they do all of those things. Language skills, I've already mentioned. We do listening to the story. We answer questions. We speak. We read with the teacher. We follow her. We view. We look at the pictures. We go draw a picture afterwards. And then I also a number of times highlighted thinking skills. Questioning is important. I want to say thank you that you allow them to predict. Thank you that you allow them to tell or predict what's going to happen next. Thank you that you give them a set of pictures afterwards so that they can reorganize it in sequence of happening. That is so, so, so important. While we're busy with reading, social skills also kick in. Participation is a skill. Sharing is a skill. Interaction without interruption is a skill. Dramatization is a skill. It goes to confidence. It goes to creativity. It allows them to work in a group. It allows them to actually bear with the other children around them, not to feel intimidated, but to still feel important. And then emotional skills. The characters in the story might go through a specific series of things happening to them. So immediately there's the sense of empathy. There's this kind of, this boy is forever crying and shouting and screaming and hitting. So there's some anger there. That's how he or she expresses emotion. And then the empathy with the characters was highlighted again. Ladies, gentlemen, the most important pre-skill that you can send them or requirement for school readiness would be emotional stability. So through reading, we created that opportunity. We are into that opportunity and we are allowing them to practice all of these wonderful things that happens through the simple thing of picking up a book and read it. I want to whisper this thing so that maybe it's the end of the session and you are getting a little bit tired. So I want to whisper it and then I'm going to say it in a staccato voice so that it really stays with you after this session. Planting the seed for reading in grade R is a lifelong investment in the future of our learners. Keep on reading. And in my second repetition of this, I'm also kind of doing shared reading with you now. Planting the seed for reading in grade R is a lifelong investment in the future of our learners. Keep on reading. I'm done on my soapbox. I've kicked it to the side, and I still want you to remember that message. It's very important for me. So, all participants, I want to thank you for being with me for this session. But it's not the last part of what I want from you, please. And I'm really asking for your assistance, support, interaction, and help here. We would love your feedback. We can just be as strong as the feedback we get. There's always room for improvement. And we value your input. We value you as teachers. So we will email you a feedback form. Please complete it and submit it to us as soon as possible. When you receive your PowerPoint later today or early tomorrow, click on the link and that will definitely give you access to the feedback form so that we can see what other courses are you interested in. How can we keep on supporting? We might be out of sight, as I said when I started, but I hope we're not going to be out of mind and out of heart. You are in our hearts at Macmillan. Furthermore, on your PowerPoint that you will receive, how to make a big book, that's the link. How to order Macmillan big books or other resource materials. You've got the link at the bottom, our website, www.macmillan.co.za. You there can have access for free, read only at this point in time, because you can purchase it after you have read all of our information and look through the books. Wonderful Tokozani big book readers, 5 languages available. You will have how to make resources for language, life skills, and mathematics. There are step into science books where you can do a science experiment that goes with all your topics. You can buy the Reading Corner equipment. I sell to you today, not books. I sell to you the privilege, the honor, the advantage of teaching reading. The other part of resources and things that you might need from Macmillan, there's also more workshops that you can register for. Macmillan also recently started with the level 4 qualification. So if you are still not qualified and you want to go that route, you've got the link there for MTC at Macmillan Education. Don't miss out on opportunities. Those opportunities might give you a long way of having a successful grade R career. I want to thank you. I want to salute you. And there you've got some little bit of those books that I've just spoken about. The Corner, Step into Science, the big books, Making Resources, and those other big books at the bottom. If you don't have money, you still have yourself. Use your voice. Use what's available around you. Use your passion. I can assure you it will rub off on your learners. All the best for the returning back to schools. Please stay safe. Make time for yourselves. And because it's Women's Day, and pardon me for the gentlemen in our audience, I just want to give you a very short little message that actually tells you that you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are brave because you're the teacher during COVID-19. Thank you very much from Macmillan. There are my contact details. If you have questions, pop them in the question box. I'm sure Ricky already looked at those questions and she will share with them. It seems that if there were no questions, please jot down my details. I'm a phone call away. Thank you very much, teachers, everybody that attended. Stay blessed and take care. Bye-bye.
Wow, thank you, Magda. That was absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure that the audience and the attendees are absolutely in awe of what they have seen today and have given themselves new inspiration to go and try out all these new ideas. And I'm sure I'm definitely going to go to my room now and I'm going to start reading. I don't care what the world does after this, but I'm definitely going to start reading all the books that I've not read. So I hope that we've encouraged you, and I sincerely hope that you will attend one of our next sessions that we're going to have. So be on the lookout for those. We will certainly have more free webinars for grade R practitioners. So please be on the lookout for those. And please do hop onto our website, and also please go and have a look at that video. And I just want to say that's me in the video, but I feel so embarrassed because I'm like 56 kilograms lighter than what I was in the video. So it's me, but it's I'm half the size now. So yeah, But yeah, so go and have a look at the video. It teaches you quite a lot on how to make the big books as well. You can also hop onto our YouTube channel. Just search for Macmillan Education in YouTube, and there's quite a lot of nice videos there that you can go and watch on there as well. Once again, thank you, Magda. I really, really appreciate
Pleasure.
your session that you had with us. It was really insightful, and I certainly learned a lot. I'm going to end the session now. Before I go, I will be sending everyone an email again with the download as well as the link for the feedback form. So thank you very much. I'm going to end the session.